Howdy, cadre. There's one thing I missed in Delta, I just realized. So a continuation of that, I started to read one of my sources and got distracted by other sources. This is one of the kind of social, it's not social media, it's one of the articles posted by some author who I don't trust, did enough research, but they describe Delta males as people who haven't been faring well in the game of life. They were once alphas or even gammas, but probably a tragedy struck hard at some point and they quietly resigned to their fate and withdrew completely. Extremely private people, deltas are aloof with an I really could care less attitude and are often resentful towards something or the other. Excellent writing. Editor's note. They're not very welcome at social gatherings due to these reasons and are often lonely. A delta male will attract someone with similar characteristics. Became if they don't. Their partner, who might be a gamma, alpha, or beta, will find them extremely boring and dull, unless, of course, they change their lifestyle around. Okay, so that's another explanation of delta, and I think the common thread there is that they are withdrawn because they feel beat down or marginalized by the social hierarchy and have given up on competing within it. Yeah, based on that description and the others, I don't consider myself a delta male, even though I may feel like an outsider. I don't think I am an outsider as much as I feel like one. And maybe that's part of the complexity we're tackling. But we're on to Sigma now. Sorry for the lack of organization and planning there. We're stepping into Sigma. I also don't think I'm a Sigma based on... Oh, I remember this place. Yeah, and it's going to be hard to be here. And focus. So I guess the best thing I can do as the gigantic sun slowly sets. What am I hearing? Oh, I guess if they're flying low enough to touch the blobs, they sound like blobs themselves. Well, that didn't work. All right, I'm gonna retreat here, like a delta, hide in a place they can't get to. Oh, okay. I didn't. All right. Okay. Didn't realize this was. All right. Let's sit here. You can watch the sunset a little bit while I tab over. So Sigma. We're on to Sigma. Urban Dictionary says the introverted alpha male. They do not conform to society standards and rather think for themselves. Sigmas have many traits often correlated with an alpha male. Although they can appear quiet to those who do not know them, they are actually outgoing once you speak to them. These people are on a similar hierarchy to an alpha male, although they are simply less extroverted and are more in tune with themselves. Okay. Second, the outsider who doesn't play the social game and manage to win at it anyhow. I've found that Sigmas and Alphas usually work out to be excellent friends because the Alpha never feels that his social dominance is threatened by the Sigma. The Sigma is an Alpha-like character that the Alpha can connect with, but never fear his own status being undone. Everyone else is vaguely confused by them. In a social situation, the Sigma is the man who stops in briefly to say hello to a few friends, accompanied by a tier 1 girl that no one has ever seen before. Sigmas like women, but tend to be contemptuous of them. They are usually considered to be strange. Gammas often like to think they are sigmas, failing to understand that sigmas are not social rejects. They are at the top of the social hierarchy, despite their refusal to play by its rules. Third definition, a strategy typically used by introverted males. Sigma male traits include focusing on mastery, strength, world-class social skills, ability to be alone, hang in smaller circles, silence, and the ability to declare war on any addiction that is taking away their power. Complicated. I almost sense an attempt by people who feel like they're outsiders to create a social standing that is equivalent with males without competing with them. But I have seen in some of my own personal interactions this sort of dichotomy at play, that I can be friends with alpha males who don't feel like their status is being attacked, and who feel like, all right, maybe it's good to correlate this with the idea of yes men, that a lot of betas can be yes men who are just kissing up to or licking the boots of the alpha males in the society in the hope that some of that power will kind of be shared with them. And from this viewpoint, a sigma male might be someone who rejects that, who accepts the alpha male's leading role in society, but also will question that directly. And maybe this is the difference between sigma and omega, or delta. No, because the deltas seem to be the just quiet, they don't want to rock the boat. So this may be a difference between sigma and omegas, that omegas are more willing to attack the alphas publicly to undermine their status, whereas sigma will be willing to be tenuous friends with an alpha in the hopes of bettering them as a person, to help them see beyond the limits of the social hierarchy. I don't know, it gets kind of tricky. All this is tricky. And again, we're focusing on males, not because I want to, but because that's what there's been more discussion and focus on traditionally. And so it's easier for me to find focused descriptions on them. Perhaps I should come back and do a whole nother focus on the female archetypes. God, that's a lot of flying things. And the sun's still setting slowly. Yeah, maybe I should come back. Feel free to request that in the comments. Perhaps I should come back and try and analyze the differences between the females and the male archetypes. I'm worried that it's just going to be like based on the alpha beta concept, that like, okay, if we accept the archetypical male role of this type, then the female role is just kind of a more beta version. I don't know. But sigma, here on a social media forum, it says sigma male. You are a manipulative mastermind. You are a spider waiting to lay your trap. You possess a cunning, intuitive mind and can sway people to your will. You don't have the casual swagger of the alpha or the omega, but you do have a clever presence about you, and people tend to be both wary and respect you for that. You can often be more powerful than the alpha or the omega male in social situations due to your ability to persuade and manipulate them. You are neither a follower or a leader, but rather a wild card. And yeah, some of that I think fits me. I don't like traps though. I try not to lay them. I don't like making people feel manipulated. In fact, that's one of the things I work against so strongly. But sometimes I'm seen as a manipulator, especially when I try to use the tactics of manipulators as a way to demonstrate what they're doing, or to make those who create traps aware of how it feels to be trapped. Anyways, here's another source. Hack Spirit. Sigma males are the men who are riding off into the sunset on their horses, without much more to their name than a pack on their back. They don't need things from society the way other men do. They are often self-employed, traveling nomads who seek adventure and knowledge, rather than material goods and possessions. And to go back to this article that I really don't like much. Oh, they don't even do Sigma. Sigma's the one they skip to focus on Delta instead. So that's not a factor. 7 traits of a Sigma male that Alpha, Beta, and Omegas don't have. This is on Zeusk, a section called The Date Mix. And a lot of this is dating advice, which I didn't really want to get into, but I suppose that's part of the social hierarchy. If you've never heard of the Sigma male, let's briefly break it down. The different personality types stemming from how we speak about the animal kingdom, especially dog breeds, are just as interesting as discussing your astrological sign or Myers-Briggs personality type. Here it talks about the different types. You can see my other videos. Sigma dudes are doing their own thing. If you think of a lone wolf, you probably automatically envision someone who likes to spend time by themselves, someone who's doing their own thing all the time. Sigma males are like this. They tend to not rely on other people and are perfectly content keeping to themselves, not oversharing on social media, and not constantly texting and keeping in close touch with everyone in their lives. They can control a room. Though not very similar to the alpha personality type, they can definitely control a room, just in a quieter way. People are drawn to Sigma personality types, but for the opposite reasons that they may be drawn to alphas in the room. While alpha personality types will be working the room, Sigmas will be keeping to themselves while drawing attention to themselves because they come across as mysterious. They are charismatic. They don't necessarily need anything from anyone. Being independent is key. They may be off the grid. They may be hard to reach. Not just because they're off the grid, but because they're so used to not relying on other people. All right, so yeah, a lot of this fits me pretty well. Perhaps I'm a Sigma. I think that tension I noticed certainly is that some of these sources seem to conflate people who want to withdraw from society with people who have been beaten down by society. Arrgh! We live in a society. And also people who kind of see past. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's hard to fight off society while discussing the nuances of it. You aren't my society. Come on in. Come on in. No? So, yeah. I think to whittle that down, it would be deltas who are beat down by society and give up, accept their fate, and live kind of marginalized life. And I may fit the Sigma archetype more. Certainly the building a mystery thing fits me pretty well. Haha. Haha. Alright, beating down the alphas. Or the betas. I don't know who's in charge here. Who's in charge here? Take me to your leader! No? No? Yeah, they're probably all betas. Probably all... Ah! My house! My house! You're outside of your society now, buddy. What you want? What you want? You can't get to the sky if that's what you want. Yeah, you're stuck. Alright. Alright. There's more? No, that was the last gasps. It's funny how killing something doesn't interrupt their dot wave. Dot wav. Dot wav. Yeah, so Sigma. Maybe I'm a Sigma. That fits better. Than what we've seen so far. Maybe Gamma. Maybe some combination of Gamma. Not Delta, I don't think. I don't think that fits me. I don't know. I'm also not sure why I'm making this about me. If you know me, you can tell me what you think I am. If you don't know me, maybe you don't care. Maybe you're not here for the cult of personality. Maybe you're here because you've realized that I share interesting ideas and try to tackle the nuance. I guess we're on to Omega, and Omega, man. That is a parallel between the Infinite that's still being uploaded, this revisit of that Infinite, in terms of personality types, because that wasn't my focus when I was doing the Greek letters, but it kind of became my focus in the first three, and now I'm exploring the nuance that I've learned since then. But also I just started Greenfields, which I don't think has been uploaded at all yet. And I think I named the first episode Omega Man, which is ironic in itself, but it's the beginning of a new world that's an old world, old dead world, so it makes sense. It's the Last Man on Earth stories. Check it out if you're interested. Hit the like button, subscribe, or give me money, whatever. Do all the things that a good beta would do for if I were an alpha, but I'm not. So, moving on. Insert catchphrase here.